What is up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. This time it's going to be an install video on some pretty cool parts, also for the Solstice coupe. I recently bought a Solar Performance exhaust, which is I actually bought the street race model. It's my wife's car and she likes the car loud, so we're going loud, or she says scandalous. And then we also bought a couple of braces from DDM. I bought the backbone and the Venom brace for the front. We have installed that on our other Solstice, our non-turbo convertible, and it made a huge difference. I know there's some controversy about it. Some people are skeptical, but I felt a pretty large difference, especially with the backbone, so I had to do it again. So I'm going to take you along, show you how to do the install. I'm also going to be doing the unboxing of most of the parts. The Solo exhaust I have not opened yet. The DDM stuff I took out of the box, but it's still in the plastic, so I will be going through that and take you along. Alrighty, stay tuned. Alrighty, here's the box from Solo. Their typical Solo packaging. It got kind of damaged at FedEx, so it had to be retaped. Like I said, I haven't opened this yet. Looks like it was kind of like retaped on the corner. I don't know, hopefully everything's there. And then we have the infamous backbone, DDM backbone. Let's see if I can one-hand this out of the plastic. I don't know if I'm able to, but I don't think I can. Let's see here. So you have the backbone from DDM. This bolts right in the center of the tunnel of the car between the two frame rails, strengthens the frame rails. Like I said, we put one on our other car and it made a huge difference, and I can show you the comparison between the stock and that in just a minute here, but that's that. And then next up we have, on top of the Solo box, is the Venom brace, and nothing special, it's just a bar. It has two bolting points. It's like a square, so it grabs the frame right in front of the engine. Same thing on the other side, another L-shaped bracket to grab the other side of the frame. It kind of just keeps the strength, you know, between the two frame rails. Obviously, you know, the car has the firewall for that as well, but this is in front of the motor, so it's kind of between the firewall and between the very front support of the frame that connects the two frame rails, so it kind of just gives added strength and helps with turn in and less flex when you're steering hard through quick corners. So yeah, these are the stuff we're gonna be, or these are the parts we're gonna be putting in. So I will get them out of the box and plastic and show you closer. And I will also do the comparison. Like I said, the backbone, the factory backbone is like a tin can, like it's junk. This, obviously there's nothing in the place of this right now on the factory cars. So this is just added strength. All right, let's get this stuff out of the box and get it going. Okay, here I'm going to give you a rundown of the factory backbone versus the DDM backbone. So the reason I can do that is because, like I said, we've already put a backbone in the convertible, so I have the factory one here that's already out of the car, so I can compare the two before I even, you know, install the new one on the coupe. So let's get started here. Here's the factory backbone. Now it has this lip, so it might look thicker from like a side profile, but really it's very thin. It's cheap steel. I mean, you can hear it. I mean, it's junk. I mean, I think even, you know, I can actually flex it with my fingers. Not a whole lot, but definitely some movement there. So yeah, that's the factory part. And what you'll be replacing it with, if you decide to do this mod, is this piece. Now, it is the same shape. As you can see, it's a lot thicker. This is a 3/8 thickness. I believe there's a 1/4 inch and a 1/2 inch. So this is the middle of the grade one. This is the most popular one, I think, and this is the one we have on the other car. The 1/2 inch one, I guess in order to save weight, has cutouts in the center. So you can kind of see through it. Is it gonna cause flex? No, probably not. Will you probably get a little more strength out of the 1/2 inch? Probably. But, you know, this one's cheaper. It's a solid piece of steel, and it's, you know, it's already 3/8 inch thick. So yeah, this is the one we went with. Just like the other car, it's solid. I mean, this thing is heavy too. I mean, this with the Venom brace shipped to my house, UPS said the package was about 20 pounds. So between the two braces, I mean, minus maybe the 3 pounds that one is, you're probably adding about 17 pounds to your car. But I mean, that's not a whole lot. You know, actually I could probably afford to just lose 17 pounds and then, you know, we'll be good. So I can make up the weight of the braces on my own. So I'm not worried about it. And yeah, so that's the rundown between the two. Again, I can show you them now side by side, as you can see. So yeah, thick piece of junk, and solid. So that's what we're gonna do. Alrighty, let's get them installed. Alrighty guys, here it is. The Solo Street Race exhaust. As you can see, some nice, I believe those are 4-inch tips. Very nice. Kind of resemble the stock setup here. And then those, the differential would be like right here. That runs into a single pipe. That's a huge pipe, very nice. And then runs right up. You have a flex pipe right there. It runs right up to your factory cat with the factory O2. So, yeah, very nice. Came very well packaged. Everything was wrapped up. A lot of paper, as you can see. Alrighty guys, it's kind of hard to see under here, but this is the stock muffler right here. It goes back to the diff right there. So I have one rubber mount right here and another one right there. So basically two, and there's one on each side. Or I'm sorry, there's two on each side. There's another one there and another one there. It's hard to see. And they're kind of a little behind the bumper here, so you kind of gotta get in there with your tools and do your best. But what I do is I'll show you on this one. I tend to lube this up here with like some WD-40, and then you can grab like a channel locks and put one jaw here and another jaw like right here and squeeze, and it will like work itself off. So that's the best way to do it that I've always done it, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that on all four here and get this muffler down. And I believe after that there's not much to it. There's no other mounts, and it's a solid pipe from the back all the way to the cat in the front. So all I have to do is disconnect the O2 sensor and the cat up front, and this whole exhaust system should come right out. So it should be pretty simple. I'm gonna get to it, and I'll be checking in a little bit. Alrighty. Okay, here I am up at the cat. So the last shot you saw me disconnect the rubber mounts for the muffler, but the thing is those hangers, they stick past the bumper because the Solstice bumper curves in, and you can't bring it straight down without removing that like plastic black rear valence of the bumper. So what I did here is the O2 sensor is being stubborn to take off down here, so I just unplugged it from on top, and I'll just disconnect it. I'll unscrew it once I get the pipe down. But what I did was I took these two nuts off. There's one there and one 180 degrees on the other side. That'll allow me to bring the pipe down, and then I'll slide it forward, and then that way I can bring the rear muffler down without damaging, you know, the rear bumper. So alrighty guys, the exhaust is out, as you can see. It's over there. I can show you. Factory Solstice exhaust, gigantic muffler. So that's over there. So now come down here, and you can see the infamous backbone right there. The weak piece of steel. So you can see it's all these little bolts running around the entire thing. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just unscrew it and screw the new one in. It's pretty simple. So I'm going to get to doing that. Alright, I'll update you as I go. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. One backbone. And that's what it looks like with the backbone out. You can see the whole drive shaft. It's kind of cool. It just connects the two frame rails together. There's the differential right there. So yeah, time to get the new one in. Alright. Alrighty guys, I'm about to install the backbone. Before I do though, I spent the extra $6 from DDM Works and bought these bolts that go in it. So I don't reuse the factory ones. I did that on the other card too and haven't had any issues, so I figured for $6 I would do it again. Okay everyone, the backbone is in with the DDM bolts. I torqued them all to 14 foot-pounds. Spec is 13 to 15. So they all torque really well. I'm going to tell you my experience is the two in the very back near the diff, if I can get down here. This one and this one, I made them pretty snug, but as you can see, like these bolts are like torquing straight down to the frame rail because it's flat under here. But because this steel is so thick, it doesn't want to. Let me show you the frame rail. I know it's hard to see, but the frame rail goes up right here. It starts raking upwards, and this being flat has a small air gap right there. And same thing on this side, so they don't want to fully torque, and I think that's why it says in the directions that you just want to snug it, because you can keep going, but these bolts are going to break before this metal flexes up towards the frame. So yeah, so like I said, I torqued every single one going forward all the way up to the tranny, but these last two down here, I just snugged them up. I mean, they came pretty close to the 14 foot-pounds, but I don't know, you can just kind of feel it. You know, I don't know if you tighten a lot of bolts often, but you kind of just know when to stop, you know, because you don't want them to break. So yeah, but everything is in nice and tight, feels good. So now I just got to get the exhaust up, and as you can see, it's dark now. So yeah, I'm gonna keep plugging away. Just thought I'd show you the finished product. Okay, as you can see, I got the first pipe up right here. It was a little bit of a tight fit, but there's a separate gasket that Solo gives you that you need to put here on the cat, because the factory one, now that this is a 3-inch pipe instead of 2.5, it won't fit. But I found that it was hard to get on the cat. It was a little, the inside diameter of the gasket was a little too small, so I just took a little bit of 100 grit and just shaved it off and put it back on, and then I used this block of wood and put it right over it and just pounded it in the center until it seated the gasket centered. So yeah, that's all on, and as you can see, really good fitment. Fits right down the tunnel here, and what's nice is they add an extra mount that bolts to one of the backbone bolts. Super simple. It just slides right on here, and then you just remove one of the bolts right here, and then you just bolt it back in. And as you can see, I mean, this fitment is great. Like, it fits right down the middle of the tunnel. Everything is good. So just working my way to the back, but yeah, so far so good. So I'll move on to the next piece. Okay, so these little clamps are pretty cool to hold the exhaust together, clamp the pipe together. They just, you basically have this bent portion right here, and you can see it's the same thing here, and then it comes with this wedge that fits inside of that. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to flip this around like that through there, put the wedge on top like so, and then thread your nuts on, which is pretty cool because this exhaust system, the pipes don't slide into each other, they're just held together with this, and this can change shape as you can see once you get it onto the pipe. loosen it up a bit. But basically it'll bend into a circle once you put it onto the pipes. So these are the tips here coming out of the bumper. Here's the bumper, and they just go back, and the main section is right there. But like I said, these pipes don't slide into each other. They're just held by those clamps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide the clamp on the pipe and then marry it to this pipe basically. And then once I'm leaving everything loose, and then once everything fits good and the fitment is how I like it, especially with the tips back here, you know, they got to fit the bumper correctly, which they're not obviously because they're not connected right now. Then I'll tighten everything up, and that should complete the exhaust. But so far the fitment is amazing on this exhaust, which usually aftermarket exhaust or anything aftermarket fits like crap, but this fits really well. So far I'm happy. All right, keep going. Alrighty guys, it's the next day. So it ran a little bit late last night, and it's kind of too loud. I obviously had to start the car really quick to move it back over to the parking spot in the garage, but I just heard it for a brief second just because, you know, I live in a neighborhood and didn't want to disturb neighbors. I do recommend having a friend help you install this. I was able to install it by myself, but just holding the pipes up and stuff, it gets to be a little difficult. And then tweaking the tips adjustment where they come out of the bumper, that took a good maybe 20 minutes, just moving them around and seeing, checking it out and making small adjustments. But the exhaust is fully in, and yeah, I'll do a cold start here shortly. All I have left though is the Venom brace. So we got the backbone in yesterday, exhaust is done, so just the Venom brace and this project is done. So the Venom brace, if you look in here, it bolts to, as you can see, there's a bolt here and a bolt right in front of it there. So yeah, so it bolts basically to the top of the frame here and runs all the way across. So I'm gonna try and get that in here, and it goes right in front of the motor. Same thing on the other side, there's two bolts that you remove, and it strengthens the frame rail here and the other side. So yeah, should be a pretty easy install. It's in. The directions are pretty specific. I went in from the passenger side, and I had the brace ears, I guess you could call them, pointed up, slid it in, and then rotated it 180 degrees to point the ears back down to grab the frame rails. Let me show you the other side. There's some modifications I had to do over there as well. Now on this side, it's very easy to get to the bolts. Well, the bottom bolt was a pain, but this one's super easy to get to. But I don't know if you can tell, but there's an AC line right here, and there's another one right underneath. It's kind of hard to tell. It's basically this line right here, the small one that runs underneath the intercooler pipe and under this. So you have to kind of bend this down. Don't just push on this because it's aluminum and these pipes are very soft and they will break. But you don't want them rubbing on anything either. So I just held it, I held the pipe right here with my left hand, and I like pulled up so it wouldn't put all the pressure on the joint down there, and then I pushed down with my right hand on this part of the pipe. So basically I only bent it right in this area, and just enough where I can actually get my hand between the pipe and the brace, or one of my fingers. For this one, I kind of just pushed it down and out of the way. You can see it moving as I push on it over here. This one's mounted to the body, but you don't want to push it too far because the radiator hose is down there underneath the intercooler pipe here, and you don't want them chafing together. So I moved it just enough to where it's not hitting the brace here. So like I said, there's a few modifications you have to do, but it's not all vehicles. Like, I don't remember doing this on my wife's NA car. Didn't have that issue. So it's just this one, and the directions say not all vehicles will have the AC pipe in the way, but that's just how I did it. Okay guys, here comes the cold start. Hopefully it doesn't blow out the mic. That was the cold start, so I'm going to give it a couple revs here. Okay, there you have it. It's not too loud. Sounds pretty good. Now that it's daylight out, I think I'm gonna have to do some adjustment on these exhaust tips, but for the most part, they're okay. It's just have a couple bolts and just put it where you want it. But yeah, even at idle, it's not super loud. Like, it's got a nice tone. Everybody was saying that it's too loud, this and that. I am running the stock cat, of course, so that helps a little bit. Alrighty guys, here I am on my laptop filming an outro for this video. It's a couple weeks later. I wanted to be able to drive the car and give an honest review of the exhaust. It's loud, which is what we wanted, especially the fact that we have a coupe compared to the convertible. The coupe does not have, you know, separation between the cabin, the passenger cabin, and the trunk area, so a little bit of noise, a little more noise can get in than versus the convertible. But we are so happy with the exhaust. It is loud. There's a slight bit of drone, but not bad. We took it on a long drive up the coast, and you kind of, you know, any kind of annoyance that you get from it, which I can't even say there is any, you know, you kind of cancel out. So, but if you are somebody that's more sensitive to those things, you know, noise and drone, I do recommend checking out Solo Performance's Mach Shorty exhaust. It's basically the same exhaust with a small muffler on the back to get rid of that extra noise and drone, if you are sensitive to that. Excuse me. But the Venom braces, or the Venom brace and the backbone brace from DDM Works, great, very noticeable, just like when we installed those same braces on the convertible. We're very happy with them, so I highly recommend checking them out. And I mean, this is definitely something, all three of these modifications are something you can do in your driveway. So just use good judgment, safety first, jack stands always, and have a great time. So thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it, and I will try to get more videos out when I can. Alrighty guys, have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.